Ridiculous questions.
Meticulously debated.
This is Tell Me I'm Wrong.
Well, I was happy just last night. I've been losing sight, sighting all the falling fights. What is this if this ain't right? Back again to muster rights, losing life until that night. Life never let him lie. Light is mine, my past is right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tell Me I'm Wrong. I am Joseph, and I will be in the director chair tonight.
Ooh, the director chair. I am Ryan, and I will be on stage starring and crushing it.
And I'm Josh, and I will be on stage starring as well and avoiding director's chairs because they make me nervous.
Why?
I just don't trust them. A chair shouldn't fold like that.
Oh, you mean like the actual chair?
Yeah.
I thought you meant like the director.
No,
Why does
the actual chair shouldn't fold like that.
I actually agree. I feel like it's almost like an MC Escher painting of a chair where, like, if you sit on that thing wrong, I feel like you're just going to collapse.
Yes, I agree.
And I would collapse.
Their chairs are awful. Did y'all ever watch the Jackass movies?
Yes, no. I have seen them all. Have not seen Blade or Rambo, but I have seen all the Jackass films, yes.
That tracks, actually. But on the 3.5, they have a thing where they're interviewing Bam Margera and Ryan Dunn. And Ryan is just sitting in one of those director chairs, and the chair just breaks. Like, as he's sitting there, it just consistently breaks, and he's like sitting side by side with someone, and the chair is just slowly sinking into the ground as it breaks, and it is hilarious.
Exactly. That's my point. They're untrustworthy.
I agree with you. I wouldn't sit in those chairs. So, okay. Well, that's not where I thought you were going with that, but that's actually good logic. And if that was a debate, you would have won. But unfortunately, that is not the debate tonight. So, you guys have wanted to do something with Veggie Tales.
So bad.
For a long time. Now, I resisted. I'll be honest, I resisted. I never watched Veggie Tales. I remember them as a kid. I remember them like having Veggie Tales, but it was just something I never watched. And so I fought it for a long time on like actually doing the episode. But you all persisted, so I said, all right, I'll moderate because I know there's a cucumber and a tomato, I think. And they're biblical.
I mean, that's really all you need to know.
It's kind of a generational difference. Now we're all around the same age, but Joe's got a couple years on us.
I was about to say a generational difference. Like, I mean, I'm 33. You turned 30 this year, right, Josh?
I am 30 now, currently.
And Ryan, you're already 30.
I'll be 30 in April.
Okay, so we're not that big of a difference, but I'm talking.
It's a 3-year difference.
Well, I was probably in middle school when this came out, or late elementary.
Well, it came out in 93. So
93. I was 5.
Introduced in 1993.
Okay, well, I just never watched it. I was too busy watching Power Rangers.
Same. Now I will admit, I also did not watch that much of it. Like I was around it. I've seen a lot of the videos, but I wasn't like, don't think I would call myself a Veggie Tales fan.
I was on the opposite end of the spectrum. So as you know, we all grew up, going to church and at least 2 of us went to private Christian schools all of our years, including me. So I was
guilty.
I was going to a private Christian elementary school and church during the heart of Veggie Tales. So I am well versed. I have seen all of these videos. I know many of them backwards and forwards. I watched a couple recently to get prepared for this episode. Remembered all of it, remembered specific moments, remembered the songs, all of it. So I am ready.
So you watched Veggie Tales for this?
I did. I am very prepared. And not only that, but I actually come with a unique perspective on this topic because I have actually received a cease and desist letter from Big Idea Entertainment, the creators of Veggie Tales.
Okay, we need a full story.
Like you're not. That's not kayfabe. You've actually received a letter.
This is not a joke. This is a serious story.
Yeah, this is not a skit that we are performing for
This
this
is
show.
not a bit.
Listeners, we are also actually just now hearing this for the first time.
Yeah,
Like,
this
is
is
live.
a new story. This is a TMIW exclusive.
So when I was in my early 20s, I was in college, but I was dabbling with the music industry, and I was managing a band that was a Christian band and would tour the Christian circuit and play all the festivals and all that good stuff. So while we were playing up at a festival in Wisconsin, a pal we had made up there in Wisconsin was also at the festival in a Larry the Cucumber mascot costume as part of, the promotions for the festival. And so during their set, he got on stage and started headbanging with them. We thought this was super cool. Someone sent us a video of it. We said, we're going to throw that up on YouTube. So we threw it up on YouTube. Well, headbanging Larry the Cucumber skyrocketed through the YouTube rankings because this was relatively early YouTube. And so it was a lot easier to game the system. It took off. Larry the Cucumber headbanging leapt to the top of the YouTube charts when you search Larry the Cucumber. And about a month later, I was hanging out at a kind of an industry function sort of deal in Nashville with one of the band members. And I got an email to our account from Big Idea Entertainment demanding that we immediately remove the video or face a lawsuit. And so we immediately removed the video because they said it could be confusing to the children. Because God forbid Larry the Cucumber headbang at a Christian music festival.
But listen, they're not wrong.
I am telling them they are wrong. They are wrong.
It is a misconstrual of the personality of Larry the Cucumber.
That is false. If you've ever watched Veggie Tales, you know damn sure he would be headbanging on stage.
That he's a headbanger.
I mean, he's got a lot of head to bang.
He does. So beyond that,
I don't know what I just said there.
my goal in doing this episode is twofold. One, I just wanted to do a Veggie Tales episode because I love it. Two, well, actually, there might be three reasons. Number two, I love the podcast Good Christian Fun, and they've talked about Veggie Tales, so we, as a podcast, need to get on that action. That's a great podcast. If you never listen to it, you'll enjoy it. But third, I'm aiming to be 2 for 2 on Big Idea Entertainment cease and desist. So let's make this one real naughty.
If we can get a cease and desist from Big Idea saying that we have to take down this episode, we will never need to advertise this show a day in our life.
But we don't do that now anyways, so it works out.
That's a fair point.
Okay. I like Josh said, I went to a small Christian school growing up as well. I graduated with 11 people, so very small. But we did not watch Veggie Tales from what I remember. We had like these animated biblical videos about certain characters. There's like a Samson, Elijah, Elisha, and all this. So we watched those
I think
over
I watched
Veggie Tales. So it'd be easy for you all to give me new fruit or a new premise or whatever. That's old, that's tired. We could have picked songs that made a lot of sense on Titanic, but we didn't. I paid Paint Me Like Birmingham by, some James Blunt.
I was literally just thinking about that episode today and how crazy that was.
Yeah.
That we did.
I went out of the box, and you know what? It worked. So I'm a big fan of HBO Max, and there's a show on HBO Max that stars Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. And what they do is it's called Project Greenlight, and they take young up-and-coming directors and try to help them with their pitches. And whoever at the end of the season has the best pitch, they make a movie for them. So I want you all to give me a pitch of a new HBO series.
I also think Joe just compared himself to Ben Affleck.
I'm Batman. Actually, it may be more like, I'm Batman. Because he just really goes for it. But I want you all to come up with a different, whether it be an HBO movie, like not wide release, but just on HBO, or a limited series, 6 episodes, whatever you want to do. But come up with an HBO series for me, Veggie Tales style, that is going to wow me. That's going to make me greenlight your film and give you the go-ahead to make that money and make that movie. So let's see. Who do I want to start with? Well, let's go with Ryan since he's not 30 yet. He's the youngest. I know that. So we'll start with him. Ryan, tell me about your movie or your series. Which one are you doing?
So I am going to have I think it's going to be 4-episode run.
Okay.
I feel like the streaming world has really opened us up to the best case scenario storytelling. And that is serial storytelling in just, like 4 to 8 episodes. I think this is the best way to tell a story. I think honestly, HBO does a great job. I haven't watched that many HBO shows, but I feel like they have really perfected this formula. So I'm going to be pitching to HBO. Now,
well, that's good because that's who I said I worked for. So it works out.
When we originally talked about this idea, I think we used the word gritty. And I feel like that was important, not the mascot from Pennsylvania, but just the adjective. So when I started thinking about Bob and Larry, but gritty, I could not divorce myself from Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern as Bob and Larry, the duo.
Oh, so you're going with the Home Alone tandem, the Wet Bandits.
Exactly. Now, Veggie Tales came out in 1993, around the same time as the peak for Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern as the Wet Bandits. I just felt like them now in their late 50s, early 60s, I'm not exactly sure, was really the vibe that I wanted to go with. Now, the conceit of my show is it is going to be a little bit of a crime drama, but the Joe Pesci and Bob and Larry characters are going to be sort of a crime investigating duo, but they are following a killer that is leaving biblical clues. So that is the elevator pitch for my show.
So you have the alphabet killer, and now we have the biblical killer.
Exactly.
Interesting. Now, I like your picks, the Joe Pesci, the Daniel Stern, and I'm sorry, if you want gritty, Joe Pesci is up there as gritty. If you've ever seen Goodfellas or Casino, that man is terrifying. Also, he is 78 years old.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's shocking.
So, I like your pick. I can't believe you didn't go with some sort of a mafioso style movie, especially with Joe Pesci in there.
It's just not my style, and I felt like Daniel Stern was really pulling me towards the gritty crime drama.
Okay, no, I can dig it if that's how you want to go. I can dig it. So okay, so you're doing a 4-part series with Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern at the helm. Okay, I'm hanging with you. I'm taking some notes on that. Josh, what do you got going on?
All right. So what I think HBO, they've been looking for this for quite some time. And I think that they found it with Watchmen. They tried it with the a couple other recent series, but they're looking for an anthology series that can stack up against like your Ryan Murphy productions, like American Horror Story, American Crime Story, all those where each season of this show has a limited number of episodes and it's a new story each season. Kind of like, True Detective is as well. And they're looking for more of these series.
Love season 1 of True Detective. Literally one of the best TV episodes I've ever seen in my life. TV series.
And so since they're looking for one of these, what I think I would pitch to them is a series that is based on stories that have a rich history, those Bible stories that so many people have grown up with. But we're going to take them into a modern time, just like Veggie Tales did. Veggie Tales took Bible stories and they put them in modern times, but played by fruits and vegetables, just like you would normally do. So we're going to take that concept and we're going to adapt Veggie Tales into a much more gritty live action anthology series with a cast that rotates each season. But for our first season, we're going to focus on a story that will strike a good balance between both the gritty kind of crime focused stories and the comedy. Have a little bit of levity to it, make it something that's enjoyable to watch. And so we're going to focus our first season here on what was my favorite episode of Veggie Tales that we are now turning into 8 episodes of the Veggie Tales HBO series. And that is the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. However, we obviously are going to adapt that to new times now in the Veggie Tales version. You know, they set it in a chocolate factory, but we're going to update that a little bit. And we're going to bring a product that is fresh, that is riveting, and that really brings the magic of Veggie Tales into the new era.
I like your premise of the anthology. I do have some questions that could be problems in the future, but I like it. Now, my main concern starting out is you're going to take one episode and stretch it into 8 episodes?
Yeah, see, here's the thing, is Veggie Tales really, it was for children. So they were trying to condense it into really short story arcs. However, these Bible stories have a very, there's a lot more going on than just what they can fit in a Veggie Tales episode. So we're going to stretch the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego working in this factory and having what essentially turns into kind of a crime story in Veggie Tales. And we're going to convert that into an adult-themed season of television.
Okay, I got your pitches. I've got each of your pitches on where you're going. We got a 4-part series based on the Wet Bandits, which I'm very partial to because that's part of my childhood. And then we got the anthology, which is a newer thing, but I love True Detective. So we just heard from Josh. So let's go back to Ryan. Ryan, give me some of the more specific details, like maybe a shooting location, your premise, actual locations of the shots. Give me an overall picture. Give me the atmosphere, if you will. I think atmosphere is very important in these types of things. When it comes to a movie, a good movie can not great because the atmosphere is not great. I think of horror movies that way. If it doesn't put me there, it's not as scary. So what kind of atmosphere, what kind of look are you going for in this? I know Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci are going to be your guys.
So I agree with you. I think the look of a show can honestly make or break the show. Like if I turn on a show and it just looks like a soundstage or what, it turns me off. So this is going to be ultra high budget show, and we are going to be shooting in the mountains of northern Montana on the borderline of Canada. So it's going to be, I don't know if if you've ever seen Ozark. I've only ever watched the first 2 episodes, but the show has a great cinematography. Everything is dark. Everything has like this almost bluish hue to it. So I'm going for very I think the Daniel Stern character, the Larry the cucumber character is going to bring some levity. You have to have those moments even in a serious show. But I think that this is going to be a show that is focused on the relationship between Bob and Larry and their ability to solve these biblical crimes happening in the mountains.
So do you have 4 individual crimes you're going to focus on, or is there one story that's going to go for the 4-part series?
This is going to be one story, and each episode will explore a specific crime, spoiler alert, murder that that Bob and Larry are going to be investigating, ultimately finding the biblical clues that he has left behind, and they will be learning a lesson along the way that this killer is trying to teach them.
Okay.
As the foundation of Veggie Tales is teaching lessons to children using biblical stories.
Oh, and Jesus did that with the parables. So
what?
He told stories as well. So I understand where you're going with that. Josh.
See, I went to public school, so I don't have that kind of knowledge that you're talking about.
You're going to do an anthology-based series with the first season. I think you said 8 episodes.
Yeah, well, we're shooting for like 6 to 8 episodes, somewhere in there.
Okay, give me the same pitch. What kind of atmosphere? What kind of cinematography? What are you looking for? Is it shot on a soundstage, shot on location? Where is this story taking place of this Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego story?
So I think the biggest challenge that we're going to have here is obviously adapting vegetables into a live action show. You could easily abandon the entire concept of them actually being veggies, but then it can be called Veggie Tales. So we're sticking to that. So I wanted to bring in some experts who have taken what could look ridiculous and make it look stunning and acceptable. And so the team that works on HBO's Watchmen is also going to work on Veggie Tales. Now, if you've watched Watchmen, obviously there are characters that have superpowers. There's a guy who's all blue. There's all these special effects, and somehow they pull it off and make it look believable. And so it's going to be very dark. It's going to be very gritty, kind of almost steampunk sort of feel, especially this first season where it's taking place in a kind of comically ridiculous chocolate factory. And we're gonna take that feel, and most of it's gonna be shot on a set with green screen and some other very high level effects. But some of it, particularly the outdoor scenes outside of the chocolate factory, will be shot on location at something that looks kind of like the factory from Willy Wonka, because that's kind of the vibe they were going for on the show. So we're gonna be kind of focusing on that kind of dark and gritty, but comic book sort of feel, so that we can pull off the vegetables in real life.
Well, I think both of those are good explanations. I do still have some questions for each of you. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go to the mod office. We're going to come back. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to let you all do your final pitch. Then we're going to make a decision.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you all again for listening to the episode this week. I just want to take a quick moment to highlight a few things. If you have anyone that is currently looking for some advertisement or some representation, we would be more than happy to discuss with them with that. They can reach us through email at tmiwpod@gmail.com. They can find us on our social medias, direct message us through there. Whatever they mean, we're happy to discuss that, how we can help them out. I just want to again say thanks to all our previous supporters, Device Pit Stop, Southern Draw, My Kentucky Tea. They were all great, helped us out, and we really appreciate them. Continue to support them, check them out. The other thing you can do to help us out is tell a friend. Tell a friend about the show. Tell a friend about your Veggie Tales reboot. Make a friend, and then tell them about the show. That's the best thing you can do. Helps us a lot. And if you don't like to talk to people, that's fine. Share it on social media. We have some people that have really been sharing our show. Shout out to Katie Watkins. She's been sharing our stories on her Instagram and just telling her friends. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Katie. It's very cool of you. And that helps us out a lot. And, if you share your show, maybe you'll get a shout out. Also, if you have any ideas for episodes we'd like to go over, send them our way. We'd love that. That's great. Last thing I want to go to is I want to say thank you to our listeners. You guys have been great. We had a great week 2 weeks ago, and it's just been keep going. It's keep steamrolling, and we really owe it all to you. We're just 3 idiots that talk into a microphone once a week. So check them out. Just thank you for that. We really appreciate it. Also, we were on the This Is My Bourbon podcast again on their live stream last Thursday, so definitely go check that out. It was a lot of fun. We really enjoy getting on with Perry every time we can, and I think we're going to have him on for another debate coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. But check out This Is My Bourbon Pod. It's another great podcast local to the area. Definitely want to give them a subscribe and follow. Let's get back to this debate. I've got some questions for him. I'm going to try to challenge him a little bit, so here we go. Okay, well, we're back from the mod office. Thanks for taking that time with us. I got some questions for the guys. Let's start with Brian, since he's the one I've been struggling with the whole episode. The one question I have in your pitch that I haven't heard yet is what story you're going with. Like, what story are you going to tackle? That 4-part series, you got to have something for the viewers to bite their teeth in. They're going to northern Montana. They're going with Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, the Wet Bandits or the Sticky Bandits. How are you going to adapt that to a Veggie Tale story?
So my real inspiration, I don't know if you guys ever watched Dexter, but the first couple seasons of that show where they're really following essentially one serial killer almost the entire show. That was kind of where my inspiration came from. So the Trinity killer is kind of where my idea came from. And I think I think I don't have an exact story fleshed out, and that is exactly why you hire writers. You just let them write the show. I'm not a writer. I'm a big picture guy. So we'll let them flesh it out. But I think the important big points to go over are this one person is going to be directly targeting Bob and Larry. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but they still call him Bob the Tomato and Larry the Cucumber. But they are actual humans. So It's very confusing, but they do still call them Bob the Tomato and Larry the Cucumber. Those are their full legal names. So I think the important thing from this first season is they are going to be taught lessons from this killer. And here's the spoiler. They don't actually end up catching the killer at the end of this first season. This is all just him sending a message. And then they're going to explore in the second season more getting closer to finding him. It's going to be more of a, Breaking Bad type long character arcs, really exploring the foundation of the show is really the relationship between Bob and Larry and how their friendship is the driving force of the show.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Josh for a question, then I got a question that goes for both of you. Josh.
Okay.
You mentioned that this is an anthology similar to something like True Detective or American Horror Story. My overall concern with an anthology type series is, what if you have a bad season? True Detective Season 1 is a work of television art. I mean, Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson are just tremendous in that series. But True Detective Season 2 is basically glorified hot dog crap. Vince Vaughn, you've got Colin Farrell. What's the girl that's in it? She's in The Notebook.
Rachel McAdams,
she's in it. I mean, you have a cast that should carry it, and it was just awful. And I never wanted to check into True Detective Season 3, which it could be great, but it just burned me on it so much. So how do you plan to counteract that? Because I know some people have also stopped watching American Horror Story because of bad seasons in the middle. How do you plan, since it's an anthology, it's not a building story, how do you plan to keep the audience intrigued?
That's a great question. So as you know, the Bible, those stories have kept people intrigued for thousands of years at this point. And so I don't really see a problem we're going to run into if we just follow that script and tell those amazing stories. Now, the other thing is, I think we're going to be able to attract an A-list cast for this thing. Much like Big Little Lies has done, much like the American Horror Story franchise has done, they made new stars and they had actual stars on it. And so I really think we're going to be able to get a great cast, and we're going to set that tone in the first season to make it a destination for big time actors. We're not having to rewrite these stories.
Do we even know your cast yet?
I was getting ready to get to that because I didn't want to blow you away too quickly, but I'll get into it now.
But you better do something, because you're supposed to be wowing me.
I wanted to attract some actors that I think would embody the spirit of the original Veggie Tales while also updating it for a more current audience. And so the first thing that came to mind in a gritty reboot that also has a touch of comedy is that I got to find some people who can do both. So the first actor I hired to play Bob the Tomato is a man who was earlier known for his comedic work, who has since gone on to have a acclaimed drama series that he wrote, stars in, directs. And I think he excels when he plays the straight man in a scene. You know, he's the one who, while everybody's being ridiculous around him, he is able to stay stable in any situation. And that goes for his comedy work and his drama work. And that is Jason Bateman, the star of Arrested Development, Ozark, and a number of great films. Now, for the second lead role, Larry the Cucumber, I need to find someone who has great acting chops, has been in a variety of things, but also is just a little bit sillier, like just known for being a little like off center, just a little eccentric. And so that's why I went with a personal favorite of mine, and that is a star of the show Atlanta, that is a star of a number of great films like Short Term 12. He was in Get Out. He's done everything, and that is Lakeith Stanfield, one of my favorite actors by far. He is tall and lanky, so he fits in the cucumber outfit sort of deal. He is hilarious, and he will perfectly embody Larry's ridiculous spirit. Now, this season centers on the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego season, and so I needed a good Junior Asparagus. Now, Junior Asparagus on the show is 5 years old, which raises a lot of child labor questions about why he works at a chocolate factory. So I decided to update that a little bit and get someone who's like a teenager. And so I targeted someone who has...
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet, of course. Someone who is great in Room. Someone who was great in the comedy film Good Boys that also had a little bit of action elements to it, and that is Jacob Tremblay. For Mr. Nebuchadnezzar, the owner of the chocolate factory, I need to find a seasoned actor who has a lot of cachet, who is the type of person that you'll see on the billboard and say, I gotta watch that. And so I got noted actor Robert De Niro to star as the aging cucumber in my show.
So you're gonna get Robert De Niro to come speak as a cucumber?
Absolutely. He just made a film called The War with Grandpa that is so bad. Why would he not do Veggie Tales? Don't even give me that argument.
This would be a step up.
And
actually.
then finally, who turns out to be the hero in this story and helps save our three main vegetables from certain doom is Laura Carrot, who is another young character. And so we targeted Priya Ferguson, who played Erica Sinclair on Stranger Things. If you've watched that, she's young, she's vibrant, she's been in some action, she was very funny on that show. She's going to be the perfect Laura Carrot. And boom, we have a great cast that is going to carry this through season 1 and make the best show possible.
That's quite a cast.
I got that HBO money, man.
Yeah, you do. I don't know if that's a lot of money for an 8-episode TV show.
Big Little Lies had Reese Witherspoon, Laura Dern, Shailene Woodley, all the lead actresses.
I agree. And I've watched that show. It's great.
The HBO has infinite money at this point.
The problem I think you're going to run into with this is that show had those people in it.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to get all these people to come on as a voice acting role?
No, it is live action. They are just morphed into vegetables. It's live action. So it's kind of a little bit of both.
Well, but I mean, it's not like Robert De Niro's walking out on the stage. You said it was animated.
He still looks like Robert De Niro. He's just a cucumber.
He's just
a cucumber.
All right, I like the cast. My next question is for both of you. We'll stay in the same order we've had. What kind of scenes are you going to put in your trailer to get people excited about it? You don't have to give me like specifics, because obviously that's not going to happen till you film it. But what is the teaser trailer? We've all seen the Justice League teaser trailers and photos. We've seen all that stuff coming out for the movies coming out of the face. The Mortal Kombat trailer just dropped. There was pictures that came out the day before of the different characters. What are you all going to do for your viral marketing to get everybody going for this?
I'm gonna paint you a picture. This summer, Joe Pesci,
trailer voice,
is Bob the Tomato. Daniel Stern is Larry the Cucumber, and they're going Old Testament. So that's my intro.
I love it. I love it.
And then so we have some cuts of them. You know, it's a little bit misty. You know, this is like, let's say September, October is when when these episodes are happening. It's a lot of night shots. You know, there's some early mornings where they're examining crime scenes, but the cuts that we're getting are, you know, low mist up in the mountains, and they're finding clues. We get a cutaway of, you know, a really dramatic, gory scene, but there's a Bible verse written in blood. You know, those kind of really dramatic hits. Everything is very dark. You know, that's the vibe.
So would you say something like similar to like Seven?
Yeah. You could say
kind of
noir,
say Seven. Yeah. Rainy, nasty. A good comparison. Okay, I love Seven, so that's a great comparison. I also love your trailer voice. You did a very good job there. It's very impressive.
I do have a podcast.
That's some bonus points right there. All right, Josh, give me your trailer.
All right, so for our trailer, we're going to you mentioned viral marketing. So the first thing we're going to release, just to get everybody pumped, is Lakeith Stanfield as Larry the Cucumber singing the classic song, "Oh, Where Is My Hairbrush?" Because that is the proper way to announce that Veggie Tales is coming back. Now, for our actual trailer, after we get done with the teaser, we need to get in the meat of this thing. The thing about this Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego episode of Veggie Tales is that it's actually pretty action-packed and has a lot of like getaway sequences at the end. So we're going to be hitting quick shots of that, mixed with moments of levity, funny moments with Jason Bateman and Lakeith Stanfield, the one-liners from Jacob Tremblay, and then right towards the end, we're going to get our first appearance of Robert De Niro as Nebuchadnezzar, bringing his intimidating yet friendly presence to our trailer and making it the big key moment where people go, holy crap, I can't believe that they made this. This is incredible.
Okay. I like that. I like holding on to De Niro. I really do. I definitely think these could be good. I think the main thing both of you will struggle with is, to me, both of these are NC-17, rated R, whatever. So the song you mentioned has always been targeted for kids. So to change that marketing to target adults is going to be tough.
Here's the thing. I'm actually going to make this point. Let me make this point because I think it's going to be valid for both of us. And I think we both went this route, and I like it that we have different shows, but they're similar. One of the reasons I chose the actors that I did is because they appeal to the audience of the original Veggie Tales. Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci are on the minds of every millennial our age because of Home Alone, and they also were around when Veggie Tales was in its prime. So the audience that we are both pitching to is now watching Ozark, HBO, all of these shows. So
I agree.
I feel like we've both done a great job of modernizing.
And here's the other thing is you got to think that, yes, the show was marketed towards children, but those children are adults now. Just like Taylor Swift started dropping the F-bomb in recent years, just like Justin Bieber, spiced things up a little bit later on.
Bad example.
You got to grow.
I like how you got real specific and then super vague, just like he once said damn in a song.
You got to like grow with your audience. So what worked for you back when you were a 16-year-old songstress making pop country songs isn't going to work for you now following the Reputation era. You got to grow up. You got to start dropping those F-bombs. And I'm not saying that we'll do that in Veggie Tales, but I am saying you got to age with your audience.
I'm not saying you weren't. I was just saying I think that would be a challenge of taking a kids show and marketing. And also I think the challenge would be of taking a show based on Christian views and Christian stories and marketing it to a broad-based audience of maybe non-believing Christians or different religions, whatever. So I think I've compiled all the information I need. I think these both could work. I do see some issues with both of them. Just a few. Ryan, I like that yours is real. I like that it's dark and kind of noir and gritty. I am kind of worried you're losing a little bit of the actual show with it being real and there's no vegetables and all that. They're just named Larry the Cucumber and Bob the Tomato. But I do like that you added Daniel Stern, and your trailer was incredible. Josh, I love that you had a specific vision of where you wanted to go with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you were going to go with the factory, you're going to make an anthology, so there'll be a new season next time, and your cast is incredible. I am concerned about getting that cast together to do this, and also I'm concerned that it's going to kind of look like you just did a rip-off of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now, there is biblical undertones there, so that would be different. So, but it just, that's the vibe I got. And I think when it comes down to it, these are both series that would be on HBO, and I think they both could work, but there was one thing that set one of them apart, and really did it for me. It really made me think I'd watch this show. And I think it tells you how important this can be. And to me, I'm going to green light The Wet Bandits.
No.
Was it the trailer?
Nonsense.
It was the trailer.
Nonsense.
It was the trailer. Josh, you'd won. You were killing them. And then the trailer was so good. Like, the trailer put me there. It made me, actually, I was like, hell yeah, I'd watch this show. And I think that's important to learn, maybe something we should learn as a podcast, that advertising and how you market what you do can be vital to success. I mean, I honestly thought Ryan's show was the weirdest thing I ever heard in my life. And his show may still be really weird. But if I had to pick the two that I would watch, I would pick his because the trailer, we're going to go Old Testament on him. It's dark, it's gritty. You have people that I recognize and associate. And I kind of like that they're real. I mean, does it match up with Veggie Tales? Not really, but it's cool that it's there. And it hit me in all my feels and goes, now, I liked yours, but I liked his trailer better.
I should have taken into account who was moderating this episode and really tailored it to you. And that's the mistake I made. And so I'm not even going to argue it. I disagree.
The fact that you didn't have The Rock in your pitch is just
that would have been
so
awesome. You made them all wrestlers.
I mean,
what if you made a Veggie Tales wrestler show?
See,
I missed the boat.
You
that was my fault.
Josh.
That was my fault. I take all the responsibility.
You went back to your 2020
I did.
ways.
I'll course correct.
I won't lie, Josh. You were winning until he came out with the announcer voice and the catchphrase.
Listen, I'll be honest. I thought Josh was going to win because his show is clearly better.
It is. It's much better.
I just sold it.
It's much better. His research was better. His story was better. But your trailer kicked its ass. So I go by what I said. Well, like I said, it's probably a pill we should swallow ourselves about how we should market.
Yeah.
But this may be some self-reflection for tell me I'm wrong. You're hearing it live, people. So, but
yeah. So when this episode comes out and you see a huge trailer for it, you'll know why.
We're gonna podcast this bitch. That's gonna be the phrase in our episode. So, okay. Well, Ryan's the winner. He's killing us, but his is better.
Man, I am crushing this year. 2021 is coming up, Ryan.
You got that dad energy going for you.
That's what
New
it is.
Dad
it's
energy.
The dad energy. All right, that's going to do it for us this week. I want to thank everybody for listening. Continue to share the show. We really appreciate the support. I also want to thank Isle of 8 for the use of their theme song, our theme song, Jean Jacket. They are not making music anymore, but you should definitely go and check out their music and just listen to Jean Jacket on repeat. It'll give you some good vibes.
Just want to springboard off what I said earlier. Share the show with a friend. Share it on your social media. That doesn't cost a thing. It doesn't take any time. You literally just click a button or two and tag us. It's great. It helps us a ton. It puts us out in front of new people. And you may get shout out like Katie did. So share the show. Tell a friend. If you haven't already, hop on, subscribe, rate and review 5 stars. And just that helps us grow in the charts, get in front of new eyes and people who may not have seen it otherwise. And that also doesn't cost any money. So we really appreciate you doing that. And thanks for listening this week.
And while you're online, head over to tmiwpod.com. Over there, you can find ways to check out our merch. You can find our social media. You can learn more about the show and do all that sort of stuff. Also, we just added a brand new section where you are able to get some delicious recipes for how to cook up Bob and Larry and make a delicious summer salad. So head over there, check out that recipe, and enjoy your Veggie Tale dinner.
That's going to do it for us. As always, there is one winner, but we're all losers. Later, losers.
See ya.
Where is my hairbrush? Where is my hairbrush?